I wasn't looking for steady work, just quick cash. So when the temp agency called about an overnight position, I didn't ask many questions. They said the job was simple. Night watch at the Grand City Museum. Midnight to 4 a.m. Double pay for short hours. When I asked why no one else wanted it, the recruiter paused before answering. High turnover, she said. People don't last long. But if you can follow instructions, you'll be fine. The museum stood like a mausoleum at the end of the street. Its columns loomed tall, stone gargoyles crouching overhead. Inside, the lobby was silent, the air thick with dust. On the front desk waited a leather-bound folder with my name scrawled across it. I opened it, and inside were rules, written in hurried black ink. Rule 1. Do not linger in the Hall of Statues. They notice when someone stares too long. The statues line both sides of the corridor. Marble soldiers, kings, saints. Their eyes were carved blank, yet I swore I felt them follow me. I walked quickly, refusing to glance back. At 12:30 a.m., the sound of marching footsteps echoed through the galleries. Dozens of shoes tapping against marble floors, moving in rhythm. The folder shifted in my hands. Rule 2. If you hear marching in the galleries, do not look toward it. Keep moving until it passes. The rhythm grew louder, shaking the glass displays and vibrating through the marble floor right up my legs. My body screamed to turn my head, but I stared at the floor, walking faster. When the sound stopped, the hallways were silent again. At 1 a.m., I reached the dinosaur hall. The skeleton of the T-Rex towered above me. Suddenly, a spotlight snapped on, illuminating the floor beneath its jaws. The folder burned hot. Rule 3. When the spotlight turns on, do not step into it. The bones rattled in the light, twitching as though they wanted me closer. I turned away, forcing myself down a side corridor. Inside the ancient civilization's exhibit, I froze. A tall mirror stood in the corner, covered by a heavy black cloth. The edges of the fabric stirred, though no air moved. The folder scratched itself with fresh ink. Rule 4. If you find a mirror covered in cloth, do not uncover it. If the cloth has already fallen, leave it once. I backed away slowly, heart hammering. At 1:30 a.m., I entered the Hall of Paintings. Rows of portraits stared from the walls, oil eyes too alive. My footsteps echoed, then another set began behind me, clicking on marble floors. The folder pulsed. Rule 5. If footsteps follow you in the Hall of Paintings, do not turn around. They are not your own. The clicking matched me step for step, closer and closer, until I exited the gallery. Then it stopped. At 2:15 a.m., I passed into the Hall of Animals. Wolves, deer, owls, all stuffed and frozen behind glass. But now their glassy eyes blinked. The words seared across the page. Rule 6. If the animals move, do not acknowledge them. Do not let them see your fear. I stared straight ahead. Behind me, claws scraped against the floor. At 2:45 a.m., I climbed the grand staircase. A woman waited at the landing, dressed in a Victorian gown. Her skin was pale as wax and her face was smooth, featureless. The ink bled dark across the paper. Rule 7. If the faceless woman asks for the curator, answer, "He is not here." Then leave quickly. Her muffled voice floated through the stillness. "Is the curator in tonight?" My throat cracked as I answered, "He is not here." Her head tilted sharply, then she melted into shadow. At 3:15 a.m., I reached the planetarium. The projector roared to life, throwing stars across the dome. But they weren't constellations I knew. The sky above twisted, symbols rearranging themselves. The folder hissed. Rule 8. If the planetarium projector runs, do not look up. Close your eyes until it stops. I clenched my eyes shut, stars burning behind my lids. When the reel snapped silent, I opened them again. The dome was dark. At 3:45 a.m., the statues stirred. Every marble head turned toward the atrium. Their necks cracked in unison. The page pulsed. Rule 9. When the statues look to the atrium, do not follow their gaze. I clamped my eyes down on the floor, digging my fingers into the folder, trying to block the awful sound of marble scraping marble. I knew whatever massive, unseen thing stood in the atrium was now staring directly at me. At last, the clock struck 4. A deep bell tolled through the museum, shaking the stone. The final words appeared in bold strokes. Rule 10. When the final bell tolls, leave immediately. Do not check out at the front desk. I sprinted down the stairs, through the galleries, past the looming exhibits. At the front desk, the glowing folder felt like a lethal magnet pulling me toward it. I slapped it down without looking and didn't so much as open my mouth to breathe until the cold night air hit me. I didn't stop running until the museum was out of sight. The next morning, the temp agency called. "Congratulations," the recruiter said, her voice flat. "You lasted the whole shift." I told her I wanted out, that I'd never go back. There was a pause. Then she replied, "You've been reassigned. Another site, another night. The rules will be waiting." And just like that, I knew. This wasn't just a job. It was only the beginning.